Right. So there's a lot of persuasion happening around me at the moment. People want to persuade me a lot of things. They want to persuade me about their particular favorite conspiracy theory, about their ideas about climate change, about what vaccines do, about who their favorite who my favorite political party should be. Lots of stuff. I can't even remember the whole list. And there's a thing which I've noticed across lots of attempts at persuasion recently is people have a really different idea than I do about how to persuade me. They have pretty terrible methods of persuasion, and so I want to save everyone time. I'm going to explain how you can persuade me about your favorite cause or your favorite theory of reality or whatever. And I'm going to bet that also, it will generalize to other people. If you want to persuade someone else, I reckon the tips that help you persuade me will also persuade the other person. So the broken thing, the idea which I don't agree with people about is a lot of people seem to have this idea that you can persuade me by rationed, reasonable argument. You can just present me the facts or things that certainly look like facts on the internet, and I will be blown away by the force of your argument and the power of the facts, and now I'll believe a new thing. And, I'm not saying that's never happened, but that is that's such a tiny fraction of of my beliefs have arrived that way, right? It's almost nothing. And the thing is, if I were the kind of a person, like the rational person who was persuaded that way, I would be so dysfunctional because I would not have time to do anything in my life. No one has time. I mean, for one, losing an argument is very unpleasant. No one likes that. No one likes feeling like an idiot because they were wrong. But even if I can push through that, I'm just too busy. I don't have time to spend all day looking up facts and figures and reasoning over cunning arguments and all this stuff. I would love to pretend that I'm the super rational person who gets all this stuff straight from the source, but I would be lying. I'm not, and no one has time to be that person, even with the best intentions in the world. Even the most humble super genius doesn't have the strength of character and the spare brain power to come to a reasoned conclusion about everything in the world. There's so much stuff. There's so many laws of physics and political parties and religions and conspiracy theories. There's just too much stuff. I've got a day job. I've got to turn up and do stuff. I don't have time to be, some kind of mega brain robot scientist doing all the rationality. So what I do is I believe what people around me believe. That's where most of my beliefs come from. I'm going to say 95% of my beliefs come from just lazily copying what everyone else around me does, which is sensible, right? Like, I'm not saying this is a bad idea. I've never drunk aviation fuel. I don't know anyone who's drunk aviation fuel, but I'm still pretty solid on the idea that drinking aviation fuel is pretty bad for you. Maybe I'm wrong, right? But it's fine. I'm going to take the safe option and just never drink aviation fuel. Done. Easy. So, if you want to change my opinion about something like aviation fuel or whatever, best thing to do is to persuade everyone around me. Just make it be the thing that everyone around me believes. That's often really hard. And if you've got a really important, belief to push, then you can't persuade everyone around me, right? So what do you do? I would recommend that you start with persuading people I respect, and especially people who are like me, right? There's a lot of stuff that people like me, that people I think are, on my team, on my side, people on my side do this thing, we believe that thing. Like, if you can persuade people who are on my team, maybe my literal soccer team or whatever, if you can persuade everyone that I hang out with, in particular, to believe a thing, then I'll probably believe the thing, right? Even if the rest of the society is wrong, those other people over there believe something different, they're wrong. We over here, we've got we know where it's really at. We believe the thing. We know that, drinking aviation fuel is good for your workouts or something. I don't know. Right. So yeah, persuade my team. But of course, you have to start. You can't just persuade a whole team, right? I'm not being helpful in telling you how to persuade my team, because they're all probably flawed, irrational people just like me. So what can you do to get it then? Well, every now and again, maybe you can resort to actually trying to persuade one of us. So let's say you go, okay, I'm going to start with this guy. I'm going to persuade Dan about my amazing belief about how drinking aviation fuel is good for you. So how would you do that? The best way to persuade me is to be one of the people I respect. So be my friend, be my peer group, be my secret internet correspondence, be my online date, be some person that I am going to want to listen to. And if you want to be that, or be a famous podcaster, it's nice work if you can get it. I'll probably listen to you then if you're one of the podcasters that I think can talk a good game. But realistically, you're probably not, right? If you're watching this YouTube video, so I'm just going to give you the hot tips for one-on-one persuasion. If you want to be someone I respect and you're not a famous podcaster, what I'd recommend is care about me, like care about my opinions. Maybe ask me my opinions. Maybe talk about them a bit. Maybe suggest some alternatives in a friendly way. And then maybe I'll take that on. If you really want to be a bit dark about it, you could try and play the con on me. You could be like, oh yeah, I'm going to give you some secret knowledge that I'm only going to tell you and no one else. Not a fan of that approach myself. I'd rather not you try and lure me into your particular secret conspiracy or whatever. That does work for some people. But yeah, like ultimately, if you want to persuade me of a thing, you should be someone that I feel I should give a hearing to, because you've given a hearing to me. That is 100% the best way to persuade me of a thing. Be a person who I want to be persuaded by. Okay, fine. That's my top tips. I reckon if everyone takes it on, I'll have a better time being persuaded to get on board with people's political agenda. I do want to turn it around though. Here's a quick one for you. So if that's why I believe stuff, and I reckon it's why most people believe stuff. Maybe there's some super geniuses out there who don't get 95% of their opinions from their friends. Maybe the super geniuses only get like 90%. But still, most of the opinions that you have, you recycle from other people. For me, certainly that is true. And I think for most of us, that is true. I just want to put that out there as a thing to bear in mind when we take on opinions of people around us. So when I get a sweet opinion from a friend of mine about who the best candidate is in the election, or who's conspiring with whom to get the vax process derailed, or who's taking bribes, or who's a lizard man, whatever. When when I'm getting the opinions from someone around me and I'm taking it on, I should probably bear in mind that they are taking that opinion on in the same way from someone else they heard it from. You know, we're just letting most of our opinions just sort of transmit from person to person, and until they encounter like some experience where like a incontrovertible fact slaps you in the face, that's what they are. Our beliefs are gossip that we take on from other people around us. They're mostly, they might relate to facts, they might not. There's no reason to think that stuff that gets passed on from person to person is particularly related to facts. Maybe if you're lucky. And, I have opinions about how you can maybe get yourself closer to facts, but I've talked for long enough right now, right? I'm just going to say hot tips for persuading me to believe what you want me to believe. And 2, bear in mind that people get their beliefs from being persuaded what to believe by their mates. So take everything that your mates believe with an appropriate little grain of salt. All right.